The NFL world wasn't ready for this. Just days before his highly anticipated preseason debut, Shedeur Sanders has found himself at the center of unexpected praise and subtle shade. Carolina Panthers quarterback Bryce Young was asked about offering advice to the Browns rookie QB, and what he said left fans raising eyebrows. Was it confidence, dismissiveness, or the start of a quiet rivalry? At the same time, Myles Garrett, one of the most dominant forces in football, opened up about his personal experience with Shedeur during camp. And what he said? It shocked people who didn't think Shedeur was ready for the spotlight. Now, with the Browns set to face the Panthers this Friday, the energy around this game has completely shifted. It's no longer just a preseason opener. It's a proving ground. And for Shedeur Sanders, this might be the beginning of something much bigger. The moment the Cleveland Browns announced Shedeur Sanders as the starting quarterback for their preseason opener, everything changed. This wasn't just about giving a rookie some early reps. This was a statement, a challenge, a spotlight. Shedeur isn't walking into this game quietly. He's stepping into the NFL with cameras on his every move, teammates watching his every decision, and fans already split between doubt and belief. He's not just another rookie fighting for a spot. He's the son of Deion Primetime Sanders, a college football sensation, and now the face of something bigger in Cleveland. And the stakes? They're higher than anyone expected. Because when a rookie QB gets the start over seasoned veterans, it sends a message, not just about talent, but about trust. The Browns are betting big that Shedeur can deliver. And while most preseason games fly under the radar, this one is different. The Panthers are coming in hungry. The fans are locked in, and all eyes are on Shedeur, not just to perform, but to prove he belongs at this level. And as we'd soon find out, he's not coming in alone. While the media focused on Shedeur's name and his college highlight reel, Myles Garrett saw something else, something that doesn't show up on paper: leadership, focus, work ethic. And for a player like Garrett, who doesn't hand out praise lightly, that says a lot. When asked about Shedeur's presence during camp, Garrett didn't hold back. He described him as lighthearted but serious, someone who jokes between reps but locks in when it's time to grind. A guy who watches the veterans, studies how they move, and figures out how to do it his way. Not copying, not imitating, just absorbing and executing. Garrett even admitted that Shedeur came to him directly, asking what defenders are thinking during the rush, picking his brain mid-practice. That's not ego, that's intent. That's a rookie who wants to understand the game on both sides of the ball. For a defensive leader like Garrett to endorse a rookie QB like that, it doesn't just build respect inside the locker room, it flips the narrative. Shedeur isn't just here to learn, he's here to compete. And that quiet support from a Browns captain may be his most powerful weapon yet. But not everyone had that same energy. When Bryce Young was asked about giving advice to Shedeur Sanders, most people expected a generic answer, something supportive, maybe even a little brotherly. But what he actually said, that caught everyone off guard. Bryce didn't criticize. He didn't offer any tips either. Instead, he shrugged it off, saying Shedeur doesn't really need advice. After all, his dad is Deion Sanders. The message was clear. What could I possibly teach him that Primetime hasn't already? On the surface, it sounded respectful, but to some fans, it felt like a subtle diss. Like Bryce was keeping his distance, avoiding any mentorship vibes with a guy who might just be gunning for his spot in the spotlight. Because let's be real, these two quarterbacks are closer in age than most rookies and vets. And deep down, Bryce has to know what's brewing. There's already chatter online, comparisons between Shedeur and Bryce. Who looks sharper? Who's more poised? And who's got that real franchise energy? Bryce's response may have been short, but it said a lot. And whether he meant to or not, he just lit a spark. Now the question is, how will Shedeur respond? They haven't faced off on the field yet, but the rivalry is already simmering beneath the surface. Bryce Young was the #1 overall pick, a Heisman winner, the golden boy with every accolade possible coming into the league. Shedeur Sanders? He was doubted before he even stepped on an NFL practice field. Critics called him a system QB, said he only thrived because of his father's presence, and questioned whether he could survive in the pros. But in camp, the energy is shifting. Shedeur's presence is undeniable. His footwork, command, and timing are turning heads, not just from coaches, but from players who've seen countless rookies come and go. And while Bryce entered the league with the spotlight handed to him, Shedeur is fighting to snatch it piece by piece. The comparison is inevitable. Two young QBs, both from powerhouse programs. One with all the hype, the other with something to prove. And when Bryce took that subtle jab, even if unintentionally, it poured fuel on a fire that had already started. Friday's preseason game might not count in the standings, but for Shedeur and Bryce, it's personal, and one of them has something to prove, fast. For most rookies, the pressure of an NFL debut is enough to shake even the most confident athletes. But Shedeur Sanders isn't just any rookie. He's the son of Deion Primetime Sanders, and that changes everything. From the moment Shedeur walked into the Browns facility, the expectations were sky high. Not just because of his talent, but because of his bloodline. The Sanders name carries legacy, swagger, and scrutiny, all at once. Every move Shedeur makes is dissected, compared, and magnified. And whether he likes it or not, his journey is forever linked to his father's iconic shadow. But here's what separates Shedeur. He's never tried to be Deion. He doesn't mimic the persona. He doesn't chase the spotlight. Instead, he carries himself with a quiet confidence, a sense that he belongs, not because of his name, but because of the work he's put in. And that's what makes this moment so fascinating. Shedeur isn't just representing himself. He's carrying the weight of a football dynasty, and he's doing it in his own style. Calm, collected, focused. But behind that calm exterior, there's a fire building, and the NFL is about to feel it. Away from the cameras and highlight reels, the real story is being written in the quiet moments, in the locker room, during film sessions, and between reps on the practice field. And according to teammates, that's where Shedeur Sanders is already standing out. He's not flashy during drills. He's not barking orders to prove a point. Instead, he observes, he listens, he asks questions. Myles Garrett mentioned that Shedeur had come to him directly, not for praise, but for insight. He wanted to understand the defensive mindset, how elite pass rushers think, what they see, what they expect from quarterbacks. That kind of curiosity, it's rare in a rookie. It shows humility, but also a hunger to learn every angle of the game. Shedeur doesn't assume he knows it all. He's constantly building, stacking knowledge, and soaking in everything the veterans around him are willing to share. But don't mistake that quietness for passivity. The Browns coaching staff has noticed his intensity. When it's time to lead the huddle, Shedeur doesn't hesitate. He commands respect without demanding it. And now that mindset is about to be tested under real lights, real pressure, and real NFL speed. This Friday, when the Cleveland Browns line up against the Carolina Panthers, all the talk ends and the test begins. It may be a preseason game on paper, but for Shedeur Sanders, it's a defining moment. This is more than just his first NFL snaps. This is his first chance to silence critics, back up the hype, and prove that he belongs, not just as a backup, not just as a rookie, but as a future franchise quarterback. Every throw will be judged, every decision dissected, every moment magnified. And the matchup? It couldn't be more perfect. Across the field stands Bryce Young, the same quarterback who just downplayed the idea of giving Shedeur advice. The same player who's been labeled a future star since high school. And now, the spotlight shifts from conversation to confrontation. Can Shedeur stay poised under pressure? Can he outshine the former #1 pick? More importantly, Can he spark a quarterback controversy that nobody saw coming? One thing's for sure. The stage is set, the cameras are rolling, and Shedeur has the entire football world watching his next move. For most rookies, a preseason start is a footnote, a warm-up, a learning experience. But for Shedeur Sanders, it's something much bigger. This game marks the start of a journey that's been building for years, not just through college accolades or viral clips, but through relentless work, sharp focus, and an unshakable belief in his own path. He's not just trying to make a roster, he's trying to make a statement. With Myles Garrett in his corner, Bryce Young casting subtle doubt, and the legacy of Shedeur Sanders hanging overhead like a spotlight, Shedeur is stepping into the kind of pressure that either makes or breaks a quarterback. And based on everything we've seen so far, he's ready to rise. This Friday, the world will stop calling him Deion's son and start calling him something else entirely. Leader, playmaker, QB1. Because when the dust settles, this preseason debut might not just mark the beginning of a season. It could mark the beginning of a new era in Cleveland.